But before I start, I want to thank the First Person Arts Festival for really brainstorming and coming up with a great theme. You looked as far as the first word in your name. So next year's Grand Slam is going to be about festivals and then arts. I thought that would go over better. I was wrong. So, start over again and tell a better story. So, I'm going to actually tell a story because really, the reason I'm kind of bitter, I'm angry, because I've never been the first anything, ever, anyone. It just never happened for me. Very sad, I know. I'll start off tragic. It gets funnier, I hope. So I'm a second son. My older brother is Dan, and my younger brother is Tom. And I'm in the middle. And I've been the second of everything since I can remember, actually. Every single time I come in second. Very sad. But it's not always bad, though. So here's why. Because when you're in second place, you can always tell like what the first guy did, and you can tell whether you never want to do that thing ever. So I've been doing that a very long time so far, but I've always wanted to be first. But anyway, so this is a quick story about my dear older brother Dan. And the first day that he ever went to school. My story, by the way, will have more firsts in it per square inch than anyone's. I'll be the first in that, so I got that going for me. So Dan's very first day of school, he was 5 years old. It was kindergarten, right? I was 4 years old, because we're Irish twins. And a couple of you get it, others not so much. It's a racist term against my people, so I can say it. So Dan, really quick, I'll just step outside because I'm dying up here anyway. Dan and I are 11 months apart, which means, baby is 9 months, 2 months for safety. And my conception was preceded with the phrase, "Are you sure it's okay?" But I'm convinced of this. Oh dear. But, so anyway, so Dan, he's 5 years old, he's going to school, and I'm 4 years old, and I'm standing with Mom, and I'm watching Dan as he stands in line, because it was a Catholic school, and they're big on that. And also, Mom was over in this little penned-off area with all these other moms, and they were just watching their kids stand in line, wait for the teacher to come out, because again, Catholics. So we're standing there, and Dan is stone-faced. He's very cute. He's 5, and he's standing there, and he's not showing any emotion. Other kids are like sniffling, and other kids are like waving at Mom and looking scared and nervous and talking and laughing. And Dan was just stoned. He was, I'm Dan, and I'm going to school now. And he was fine up until they started walking into the school. So Dan, he's walking. He's got his Transformer lunchbox and his gray backpack, because Dan didn't mess around with backpacks. As they're walking into school, and as they're walking through the door, Dan is walking, he's walking. He stops dead and bursts into tears. Like literally, I've never seen anyone just burst into tears, except that one time. And for some reason he was just going on, and we never actually found out why. I've asked him since, he never said why he suddenly decided to. Anyway, so the teacher comes back out, and again, Mom isn't mobilizing at this point, because she had just read an article about not doing that. And if your mother ever says, "I just read an article," stop her, because it's never good. Because it's literally, every time Mom says, "I just read an article," it's just never going to go well for you. But anyway, so Dan, he's crying, and the teacher comes out and says, "Oh, it's okay, this and that." And then the principal, he comes out, his name was Brother Thomas, he comes out, and he's comforting Dan. The next day, calms down a little bit. And Brother Thomas, he picks Dan up, he puts him over his shoulder, and he's carrying him into the school. And Dan, at this point, decides to grab on to the door frame and just hold on for dear life, and he is not going to school that day. And at this point, Mom finally moved. So she goes over, she helps. It took 3 grown adults to pull Dan off of the door frame. And he actually, they calmed him down, and he went to school that whole day. That was his very first day of school. So he managed to make it through the whole day, and he made it to the next day and all the rest of the days and every other thing. So the following year, because again, I was 4, so I started school the very next year. But I'm a November birthday, so it's tomorrow, so I should win. But, it's true. But, so the very next year, I'm a November birthday, and they gave me the option. I could start school or I could not start school. And Mom said to me, "Bob, do you want to start school?" And I said, "No, I don't want to start school." Because I had seen Dan grab on it, and it didn't look like he was having fun. I said when I was 5. But yeah, so Dan, he's always been first. He actually, believe it or not, from that first day, Thank you. He was, from the very first day, he was always actually first in his class. Like 1 through 8, 9 through 12. The boy was first in his class. He graduated from the University of Pennsylvania. Bloody freaking dead. But he graduated summa cum laude. And I went to Westchester. And I graduated magna cum laude, which is second to summa. I don't know this part. So he was the first one to get a job, obviously. He's ahead of me in school. He's actually 2 years ahead of me. And he's the first one to, get a house and get an apartment. But I thought, finally, I got Dan. Because recently I became engaged to a lady. Yeah. She's here and hiding, so I don't point her out. But so I became engaged, and Dan, he's still not engaged to anybody. And I was like, finally, I'll be the first brother to get married. Until my stupid little brother decided to get married in December. And he named his best man. It's Dan. I'm his second groomsman.